Got the Coke Zero Oreo. Pretty good. Very Oreo-y. You can taste the cream for sure. 52 travel segment. Back again. This time we're packing our bags and we're headed to Winter River, aka Vermont, where they shot Beetlejuice, the first one, and the second one as well. And they did a little bit, I forget where else, in Massachusetts, I think. And we took the family, went out to the movie theater. We've been going a lot lately. And we went to go see the new Beetlejuice. Pretty good. I mean, I gotta say, I enjoyed. For me, it's always the nostalgia, and we use that word too much, but the nostalgia of seeing, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, seeing Lydia again as Lydia, and I gotta say, uh, Winona Ryder, man, she's not too bad. She doesn't look too. They had a lot of close-ups on her, and she looks good, man. She looks really, really good. Still attractive. She's got her voice is just a little raspier. She's a little more seasoned. I like it. Also got let's see. You also had Lydia. You had Delia Deeds. She came back too. I love her. She's in Schitt's Creek, so she's great. But I've always been a fan of her. Always found her attractive as the mom of Home Alone. The mom of Home Alone. She's always attractive. She was on SCTV back in the day with John Candy and all those guys. It was just a team. Nice Canadian show. John Candy. That's where I first got my first taste of John Candy. It was I was hooked, man, when I saw him for the first time. It was. I saw a big guy on TV, and I was like, ah, okay, big guy on TV. So it's possible. This fat guy's got a chance then. But yeah, I love John Candy. Like I said, Delia Deets is back again, and of course, we had some references to what I enjoyed. They had some throwback callbacks, like the agent, Mrs. What was her name? Mrs. Butterfield, the agent they had, the real estate agent. And now it's not her anymore. Now it's her daughter, and her daughter's got her kid with her. It's a nice callback. Another one too, where they're having they're having a wake, and what do you call it? Um, Delia says they're having a wake, right? And Delia goes, "I wonder if Maxie Dean showed up." And it was just good to see the Maxie Dean. Maxie Dean in the first Beetlejuice was Robert Goulet, and he was, the guy with the cash. He wanted to invest into to the little town. But yeah, those little callbacks were cool, man. Of course, you got the sandworms, and the thing that I loved about it was the animation. They had the clay animation for the sandworms, and one character that I kind of knew they weren't going to bring him back, but Charles Dietz, didn't bring him back. Jeffrey Jones, and it was sad not to see him come back, but there's a reason for it. We'll get into that. But the way that I did enjoy how they did bring him into it is kind of his idea. Jeffrey Jones is kind of his idea. So he had some legal issues uh, back in the day, and I think before like 2008, something like that, back in the early 2000s. He ran into some issues, and it was unfortunate. And then he had to register as a sex offender. So that being said, he's been out of the game for a while. I think the last thing he did was in 2019. He did Deadwood. I think the Deadwood movie, one of the Deadwood movies, and it was a shame. Like I said, so he's not in the game anymore, really into the game. But the way they brought him in, and it was kind of his idea. So Tim Burton kind of addressed it. He's like, I'm not gonna. He didn't really want to get into it, but the way he did do, Jeffrey Jones pitched the idea to Tim Burton about. It's kind of his idea the way he did the beginning. The beginning, because you're wondering, well, where's Charles at? So Delia explains it all, and it's like he passes away, he dies, he's in a plane crash, and Lydia's like, oh, he died in a plane crash. That's the word, She goes, no, plane crashed in the water. But the whole cool thing, the whole sequence, while she explained the sequence, it's a clay animation of Jeffrey Jones, of Charles Dietz. It's a clay animation. He's on the airplane. He's got the big bug eyes, his red hair, and he's on the airplane all weird and stuff. It's just really cool how they did the claymation. Clay animation was really good. It brought me back, man. It's just like that's the good stuff, man. To see those little animations, I still love those. Anyway, he did that. They have it in the story. On an airplane, he crashes, and Lydia's like, he dies in the plane crash. He goes, no. Delia says, no, he was eaten by a shark, and it shows him like get chomped, right? So he's chomped in half by the shark. which was, it's all funny. It's so hilarious the way it's all cut up. The way it's cut up is awesome. The way they put it all together, and so you don't see Charles. You hear him. You hear him throughout. He's out there. He's throughout the movie. He goes throughout the movies in the afterlife. He appears here and there throughout the afterlife. He's looking for how to get home and whatnot, and what's the next step in the after death process. And he's in there, but he's like chomped in half, so you don't ever see his head. But he's got this little pipe, his little voice pipe that sticks out and it shoots out blood every time he talks. And he asked, where do I go here? And in the afterlife, it's funny, and but it's nice that they thought about him. They kept him into the show, even though despite all the BS, going on outside of the business, that they still kept him involved, and I appreciate it. Anyway, that was his whole idea, to add himself in the movie in that way, in that animation, and just to be kept in the movie. And I thought that was great, man. And like I said, for me, Jeffrey Jones, I got introduced to him the first time was in I was a kid, man. I think 83 it came out. Easy Money. Easy Money came out. Rodney Dangerfield's movie. And man, granted, man, Jeffrey Jones worked with some stars, man. Like he worked with Rodney Dangerfield in Easy Money. Who else was in Easy Money? Excuse me, if I can talk. Joe Pesci was in that. The girl from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the one that got the abortion, she was in it. God, what's his name? Spanish Cat. Oh God, I can't remember his name. He's in a lot of the '80s movies coming out. He's the pizza guy in Fast Times at Ridgemont High too. I can't remember his name. But anyway, Easy Money. One of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. I'd watch that late up at night, stay up late at night. God, I can't talk again. Mouth working. Stayed up late at night as a kid. Watched HBO. Watched Easy Money for the first time. We were premiere on HBO. It was a big deal. And that's where I saw Jeffrey Jones for the first time. Red-headed guy, tall guy. He was like the assistant in the movie to Rodney Dangerfield's mother-in-law. He was they owned a big store, Monahan's, and he was the assistant. And he was squirmy. He was always sketchy, always trying to get over on people. He always played that role, like just in like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was that. He was swarmy. He was a little bastard. He always said that he had a knack for that role. And then I guess that was just him. But loved him. He was in Ferris Bueller, '86. He was also in Howard the Duck. I think he was a scientist, bad guy, of course. In '86, of course, Beetlejuice, the original, in '88. And then one movie that I really enjoyed that is probably on nobody's radar, it's Who's Harry Crumb? And again, John Candy movie. And it was John Candy's like a private detective, and he's trying to break his case. And again, Jeffrey Jones is involved. He's again a bad guy. Like I said, he likes that role. I guess that's just he gravitates toward that. He plays it well. He plays it really well. But John Candy's in there, and I just saw this clip I was watching before I came to shoot this. I was looking at my news sources, TikTok and Instagram. And Instagram, I came across a thing where John Candy in that movie, Who's Harry Crumb? He's counting money. He's like this, the stacks of money he counts like that. He goes, "You're missing one." It's just a funny scene, and I probably put the clip in here so you can see. But John Candy and Who's Harry Crumb? I guess he's a detective, and trying to break the case open and all that stuff. It's a good movie. It's a silly movie, and they don't make movies like that where it's just fun, where it's, and a fat guy can be the hero in the movie, which is I always enjoy the fat guy being the hero, unless it's what's his name, Doug Heffernan. I forget his name. I don't like him. I don't like that guy. I don't enjoy him. I don't know what it is about him I don't enjoy, but I don't enjoy him. And anyway, Who's Harry Crumb? The girl that's like the love interest or the hot chick in Who's Harry Crumb, John Candy movie, is the chick from Saw. I think is it Saw 2 or 3? The one where she falls into the gal that falls into the syringes. Her. She's in Who's Harry Crumb. She's very young. I think she's probably like 20 maybe. Very young, and she's like the love interest, the hot girl. And but yeah, it was Who's Harry Crumb was another one of my favorites. Now I also saw Jeffrey Jones in The Pest with John Leguizamo, and again, Jeffrey Jones is a bad guy. He wants to shoot. He hires John Leguizamo so he can shoot him and kill him. It was just like a hunting game kind of thing. Silly ass movie, The Pest. John Leguizamo had his time, man. He was hitting his stride at that time. Came a long way. Like I said, I've probably said this on the podcast numerous times. John Leguizamo, man, he's I always loved his stand. It wasn't necessarily a stand. It was like a monologue. But he would let you into his family and his Puerto Rican family, and he'd tell all the stories of his aunt, his uncles, and all these fantastic stories. But he acts them out, and I think he was just so good at that was his thing, man. Like he was funny, yes, of course he was funny, but I loved his. He had the skill, he had the chops to act and to ad lib stuff. He was just, I love his work, man. I love John Leguizamo. I love him. I love him on movies. Don't love him in real life. I just don't care for him as a person. But in movies, fantastic. I loved him. John Leguizamo also did a good. He had a little part, not a little part, I guess you say, kind of a big part in The Fan with Wesley Snipes and De Niro, and he was like a reporter, I think, and he was really good. He had it was a small role, but he was good in it. He kind of made a little impact for me. He made an impact. He stood out a little in that movie. Yeah, so the past in '97, Leguizamo. Also, I think alongside Leguizamo was Ari Spears, comedian Ari Spears. And Ari Spears, I caught him on Def Comedy Jam, and when Def Comedy Jam was still kind of new on HBO, and Ari Spears came out, he was young. I think he was like 19, 18. I think he was like one of the youngest comedians on Def Jam at the time. And man, he killed it, man. He had good impressions and just he had a thing about my nine, and you could see that that dude's gonna go far. But I don't know, it kind of ran out of gas as of late, and he's kind of been on the ropes of late, and he gets a lot of backlash and shit. There's been a lot of shit going on. I don't really know the feuding or the beefing or what it is. But Ari Spears doesn't get his due. I think Ari Spears is a very talented guy. He's got I think he was talked about for lifting jokes and shit. I don't know. Everybody lifts jokes in some way. It's just, it's just like, it's like Dio Hewley, uh, what's his name? George Lopez. All these guys, they all have the same jokes. It's jokes about, and I get it. It's nothing wrong with it. I think it's funny, but it's always the minority joke that in our world we do this, and our families we did this, or growing up I had it, and it was all this. It's all the same stories. I get it all. It's just like that. Those are just. I like comedians that come out of left field. They're just wacky and quirky and weird. And John Leguizamo was that way. Like he was. John Leguizamo was that way. Uh, Ari Spears had a way about him. He was just. They had a way. They had a funny way about them that was different. It was just quirky, off the beaten path kind of thing. I think. Anyway, but the Pest, he did that. Jeffrey Jones did the Pest. Trying to think what else. And then the legal issues I talk about was that he was apparently he was soliciting photos from somebody underage. I don't know, and he got into a lot of that. Got him off the. He was off the Hollywood scene for a while. And then in 2004 and 2010, I believe he didn't re-up. He didn't update his registry, and he got put in jail again in 2004, 2010. So he had a rough patches, you know what I mean? And outside of movies and whatnot, I don't care what that personal life. I don't give a shit what you're doing. And that's the thing about social media, and that's I was talking about that with Jennifer. I was telling her earlier, I was like, I hate social media. I mean, I love social media. I love it because it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But social media is like again with like Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton, man. Like he's my Batman. He's my generation's Batman, and of course Beetlejuice, and these things. And you grow up with these people, and they become up for me. It's for me. For me, I'm speaking for myself. For me, I grew up watching these people, and they were a part of my life, big because that was movies were a big deal for me, TV, whatnot, and. So now I follow them on social media. It's like I kind of don't want to follow on social media because again, I don't care about right, especially right now with the climate, the way it's bullshit right now with this election time. So everybody has to have their opinion, left and right. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your opinion, left or right. I just want to be entertained. Right now things are so heavy, man. We don't need it. Like I said, I just want to laugh and enjoy a good movie. But again, back to my whole point with this is the Beetlejuice movie. It's fine. It's okay. The storyline is it's all right. Like I said, Jennifer Ortega, she's okay. She's got her way about her, and I don't care for her acting. And for me, she's not ruined. She kind of didn't enjoy it. She kind of brought the show down. This one, Scream, and what was the other one she was in? And Wednesday. I didn't care for Wednesday. I saw a few episodes. I got like halfway into it, and I was just like, it's not for me. She's not my cup of tea. I don't get it. I don't dig her. I mean, I know people love her. I'm in the minority because I just don't get her. But she's fine. Like I said, the movie was good. It's just the storyline was okay. It could have been, it could have been. I don't want to ruin it for anybody if anybody wants to still hasn't seen it yet. I don't want to ruin it. But it's a good. They have a good storyline in there. There's something in there. But for me, it was just to see the Beetlejuice character and the shrunken head guy, Bob. Bob was great. Bob was hilarious. He doesn't say shit, but he's hilarious. I think Danny DeVito's in there for like 2 seconds in the beginning, and uh, yeah, and it's what it is. You know, it's just it's a movie that came out just a little too past its, you know, when it should have came out. You know, what is it, 30, 20 years whatever later it came out. I appreciate it. Just I appreciate seeing the people. Like I said, Lydia and you know, Beetlejuice, all these people, seeing all those characters again was good to see all those characters again. I just didn't care for the movie. It was just all right. Um, but yeah, for me, Charles Dietz was the missing piece for me because, like I said, I liked him. He was the odd guy, the weird guy in the movie, and he was the dad that was, you know, trying to take his office away. He goes, you know, you can tear down the house, just don't touch my office. You know, he wanted peace and quiet. He wanted to be left alone and look at his birds. And I missed that character. And another character that I missed they didn't add, and they could have, you know, with AI and all the technology they have now, they could have brought back Otho. Otho, the interior designer. I loved Otho, man. I thought he was great, man. He was funny. He was dry. He was a bitch. You know, I loved Otho. I wish they would have found a way to bring him back in some sort of way. And but it was fine. Like I said, you get more of the other side of the death part. You get to be on that side of it. Like we see the more of that, the behind that scenes, like the waiting on the train and stuff like that, to waiting on the Soul Train, which was funny. And they had a lot of disco was in there, and they're trying to bring back disco. I hope not. Bee Gees are cool. Bring back the Bee Gees, but that's about it. Other than that, Gloria Gaynor, you can keep that. I don't like that movie. That song was like ran into the ground. Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. Terrible, terrible tune. Anyway, Beetlejuice. Yeah. So who else? Who else? Like, yeah, Otho. I wish they brought him back. I wish they would have brought that guy back for sure. I was trying to remember that actor in the Easy Money, and he was in Fast Times. Taylor Negron, great actor. He's always had the little side character. He's always that side character, never the main character, always the side character. But yeah, Taylor Negron. I think I'm saying his name right. Taylor. I'll put a picture of him. You can see him, and he has his little thing. He's always funny. Had a quick quirk or something. But yeah, Easy Money. He was marrying Rodney Dangerfield's daughter, and I think he was Puerto Rican, I think, and Rodney Dangerfield didn't care for that, which, you know, just that was the times you could get away with the racism and all that good stuff, the simpler times, you know. I'm being funny, but yeah, so he was in that. He was the pizza guy in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You know, he brought Spicoli's pizza, and Spicoli had to split his pizza up with the whole room, which is, I would have pissed me off, but and Mr. Hand was a bitch, but he was fair at the end. He was fair. He let me go to the dance at the end, so we'll let Mr. Hand ride on that one. But yeah, Beetlejuice, the second one is not too bad. It's okay. If for me, I'd go. I wanted to go just because I wanted to see Michael Keaton on the big screen again, and of course Winona Ryder had to see her on the big screen again. So that's why we went, and that's why I went. And but like I said, the story was just it's okay. It was all right, but I did get my popcorn. I did my favorite thing now that I got Jennifer turned me on to was the Nerds clusters. Those are the shit. The Nerds clusters and popcorn. Forget about it. It's movie time. It's movie time for that, and that made my night there. That made my night. I enjoyed it. I said, like, I enjoyed the movie. Check it out. Definitely check it out though. If you're a Beetlejuice guy, Michael Keaton fan, check it out, man. The other thing I came across on my news outlets was Hogan, this old ass video of Hulk Hogan, and he was on he went on Richard Belzer at some point in the '80s. I think Richard Belzer had a. If you don't know Richard Belzer was the MC. He was in Scarface when Scarface was in the club, and he was just sitting at the bar, you know, sitting at his table. Scarface sitting at his table, all fucked up, watching the comedy show, or whatever. And Richard Belzer was the MC. Anyway, Richard Belzer had a TV show back in the '80s. Mr. T and Hulk Hogan were on it. Hulk Hogan came out. Richard Belzer did the unfortunate thing of saying, you know, wrestling, you know, is fake and this and that. So Hogan's like, all right, I'll show you fake, and he like put him to sleep. And when he put him to sleep, like Hogan's like, he was like, well, first Hogan came on the set, he was like pushing him around and like being the alpha dog, being the alpha male, and like taking over the show and telling what he was going to do and whatnot, and, you know, telling Richard Belzer, shut up on that shit. After the fake incident happened, after the fake thing came up. And Hogan's like, oh, let me show you something. And Hogan brings him out to the stage. They bring him out to the floor. And he puts Richard Belzer like in a thing like his head here, and he puts him to sleep. And then he lets him fall. and Richard Miller hits his head on the floor and shit, smacks his head on the floor and shit, and it's just like it turns into a big thing. And they cut the commercial, and they come back from commercial, and Hogan's there, and he's like apologizing. He gives like his half-ass apology, and then Richard Miller doesn't come back on set no more. It's like this other guy, like I guess his like assistant, comes on and says, "Well, Richard got a little injury, so he's gonna be carted off to the doctor or whatever." But it was just funny how Hogan was like, "You call my shit fake." He goes, when he was putting the move on, he's like, "Yeah, this is like not even half." He goes like, "This is like a quarter of the strength." Most of our wrestlers, we go full speed kind of thing, and he put his ass to sleep. It was a hilarious bit. I'll put the little clip in here where you can see. But yeah, Richard Belzer, man, calling the wrestling fake, and Hogan choked his ass. It was just hilarious. I came across it was just funny shit to see that. Back then you couldn't get away with shit like that, and I think could have been staged, but whatever the case may be, I don't think he wanted to bang his head for no reason. But anyway, the other thing too was I got into the American Sports Story, the Aaron Hernandez story on Hulu. It's like the made-for-TV movie. Oh boy, I tell you what, where do we begin on this one? Let's see, Aaron Hernandez. Okay, I want to say I'm gonna give this show this. I'm gonna give them this at least. The Urban Meyer, the coach of the Florida Gators, the coach that was coaching then when Aaron Hernandez was there. Urban Meyer is spot on. Like the guy they casted for that role. He's spot on. Like he sounds like Urban Meyer, and he looks for me he looks just like him. But they didn't do so well with the Cam Newton character. Holy shit, Cam Newton looks like the Cam Newton guy they casted for Cam Newton looks like the kid from Everybody Hates Chris, the Chris Rock show. Everybody Hates Chris. He looks like that kid. Did a terrible job, Cam Newton. Who else looks terrible? I think I mentioned it before on the other episode. Was Schwarzenegger's kid is being what do you call it? I forget it. Tim Tebow, and again, doesn't look anything like Tim Tebow. I know they can't get that close, but geez, I mean, she's getting the ballpark. And then again, the Aaron Hernandez guy doesn't look anything like Aaron Hernandez. He's just just it doesn't work. It doesn't have that presence. It doesn't have that scary presence. I know it's hard to find that, but it doesn't look like Aaron Hernandez, and doesn't sound like him either. And the thing I didn't like about the show is like they really made him like I don't know, very like passive and wimpy. I mean, I don't think I know in high school like, he had a lot of issues like with fighting and stuff. I know he was an aggressive kid. Like, I don't know why they made him so like a puss. Like they made him really wimpy, and it was weird to see him in that light. And they did a lot of not that there's anything wrong with it, George Costanza. Not that there's anything wrong with it. They made him very, very like gay. I mean, I don't know how much. Most of this comes from like the book, the Gladiator. Some of the one book they wrote about it comes from that. They say it comes from that book, but I don't know if that guy, the guy that produces or whatever, put his own spin on it or whatever. But yeah, they made him pretty gay. Again, not that there's anything wrong with it, but they made him pretty, made him pretty soft in that area. And it was just weird. It was just a weird thing, and maybe that's what he was. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. But other than that, it's just okay. The acting's terrible, but like I said, I just like to watch. I have no choice. I have to. It's that thing. If I feel like I'm gonna miss out on something if I don't watch it. So I have to watch these things. And so there, the Aaron Hernandez story thing, the American Sports Story. If anything, the Urban Meyer, spot on. And the other thing I hopped into today, earlier this morning, I hopped into Monsters. Lyle and Eric Menendez. I always get it wrong. Jennifer always makes fun of me because I say Melinda, the Flying Melindas. You ever heard about the Flying Melindas? I think one of the guys was going across in New York. I think he was crossing the wire tightrope, and he fell to his demise on, I think it was live TV. I'll find a clip and I'll throw it up there. You know how it is. So the Menendez brothers started watching that. It's not bad. It's not too bad. Again, they kind of made those two guys, I know they were brothers, but I don't know if they were supposed to be incestual. I don't know. They were kind of weird. It's a very weird relationship they had that they were, projecting in the movie there, showing us. But yeah, I'm like 2 or 3 episodes into it. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I can't hate on it. It's not too bad. I don't mind it. I'll probably finish it up tonight. But after Colorado game, I'll finish it up. Got the new hat. Had to wear the new hat. Gotta show it off. I love the Colorado. I saw this guy. I was watching the last Colorado game when they were playing Colorado State, and they were panning through the crowd. They're panning through the crowd. and they came on these two dudes all shit faced, and then they had the hats on. I was like, oh, I gotta get that hat, dude. And I went to Amazon, not Amazon, whatever, Nike. It's a Nike thing. I went to the Nike shop and had to pick it up, man, because that was a nice hat, and these guys were all shit faced, and it was just hilarious. Anyway, digress. Anyway, the monsters, the Melendez brothers Netflix thing. This coolest scene in there so far, after the 3 episodes I've been into, is where they do where they kill their parents, and that scene is pretty cool, man. Like they did I'm not saying the killing, I'm saying like the way they did, the way it was shot. It looked good. It was pretty graphic. Usually those things are pretty shitty, and they're kind of, you can tell it's fake, but they did pretty well with the effects, the graphics, and the bloodshed and whatnot. They did pretty good with that, man. I mean, it was good. It caught my eye. I was interested. I was in. They sucked me in. But yeah, that murder scene of their parents was pretty good. That was really good. Another thing, one other thing on before I cut it on that Melinda's brother thing. They had a lot of Milli Vanilli, which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but they had a lot of Milli Vanilli, and in the opening scene of the first episode is like Kenny G. So like, music's spot on, man. Just like with the what's his name, Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix thing. The music was great. It was like all this like 80s like club music. It was really good, man. Like I said, so I like the soundtracks. I really love the soundtracks. But yeah, a lot of Milli Vanilli in this Lyle and Eric Netflix thing. But yeah, I got into those, pretty deep into those. I'm gonna finish those up. Try to finish those up tonight. And then another thing we're trying to finish. Me and Jennifer are trying to finish up that she got me into, and I didn't think I was gonna hate it. I wanted to hate it, but I couldn't hate it. I kept fighting the feeling, and we got into Yellowstone. So I'm into Yellowstone right now. We're in almost at the end of season. End of season 4. Jeez, I can't talk. Half asleep. End of season 4. We're almost at the end, wrapping up. I know it's like, I think the next season starts in November, season 6, I believe. And it's not bad. Like I said, I wanted to hate it because, I think it's like, the hype, it's always a thing, it's going to be trash, but I got into it. Yellowstone, really good. A lot of what's his name? Rip, the character Rip, man, he was in Dazed and Confused, something Hauser, right? So his last name's Hauser. Great actor, man. I like him. He's really hardcore. He's really good, hard-nosed guy, cowboy. You wouldn't know that he was doing paddling. He was paddling people in the 70s. You wouldn't have known that. And you also wouldn't have known that he was a Nazi on, what the hell is that movie called? Higher Learning. You wouldn't have known he was a Nazi. But he does a hell of a job, man. He does really well. I always enjoy his work, man. He's got a way about him. His way of acting. I like it. It's very, very cool. He's always cool. Any role he does, he's really, really cool. Even as the Nazi in Higher Learning. Go back. I'll put the scene in here if I can find it. There's a scene in Higher Learning where he's a skinhead, and they all got their ass kicked by Ice Cube and Busta Rhymes and shit. They're back in their place. And they're all talking this shit. Oh, I shot him. And it's like, he goes, yeah, we're not done shit, He's got this little thing, this little container device. He's like shaking it. It's just funny the way he's doing it. He's like shaking. It's just hilarious. Like I said, I'll try to find that clip and put it in here. For some reason, I just found that scene funny where he's just shaking the ice because they're all like talking shit. And he's like, like shaking the ice, like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, love that guy, Hauser. I forget his first name. I always forget his first name. I just know him as Rip now. And the redheaded guy in Dazed and Confused with the curly hair and shit. With the paddling Peggy. I always think about paddling Peggy. Anyway, so yeah, I watched those. Gonna try to finish those up, get those done, finish those series up, and looking forward to the new season of Yellowstone. And I know we have to go back and watch 1887. I think it's what it's called. I can't remember right now, but we'll go back and watch those too because, like I said, it sucked me in. I like it. Probably go buy a ranch someday. Probably gonna go buy a ranch tomorrow now that we're all into it now. Get some cows and shit and start what is it called? Mutt busting. I'll go do that. Mutton busting. That's for like little kids. But I'll give it a shot. Anyway, yeah, man. Fucking Yellowstone, man. I'm all in, dude. Like I said, it's a good show, man. A lot of good acting. The sister Beth is, she's fucking nuts. Oh, and then the guy from what's his name? Jesus. I can't remember his name, but he was in American Beauty. And he was the guy that liked the trash bag that was flowing, the plastic bag that was flowing, the real artsy guy that was selling weed. And he was selling weed to Kevin Spacey, and they talked about Reanimator. That kid, I didn't know he was in Yellowstone. I didn't know that. He was the adopted son. Spoiler alert. Spoiler after, however many seasons, he's adopted son. Didn't know that. I didn't know that, but good show. Yellowstone. I'm digging it, man. It got me. It sucked me in. I'm all in, man. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. How they're gonna wrap it up. I think they said they filmed the last. I believe they filmed the last season, season 7. I think it's the final one. Is what I heard the other day. I was listening to some kind of news thing, and they were saying that season 7 is gonna be. They're gonna wrap it up and put a little bow on it. So, and then I think Rip, that guy Rip that plays Rip, that character, he was in Houston, I believe, this past week. He was in Houston at the Specs doing his whiskey, and he was promoting that. He was signing things. Had I didn't have to work, I probably would have down there and check it out, man. Because like I said, he's a good character. I like his, not just from this show, but like I said, all the others, Days of Confused and Higher Learning. I love his work, man. I love what he does, man. He's a hell of an actor. I like him. Yeah, man. Yellowstone got me. But anyway, yeah, gonna wrap this sucker up. I'm not gonna keep it too long. Got football to watch. Gonna watch the Longhorns at 7. I got them and Colorado at 7 o'clock. So I got to do the split screen thing, old school. Put the split screen and watch both games. Excited about that. And then I think the last episode we did, the last travel size we did, I said I was going into my first class to teach my first class of students to do my first official art class, and it went well. And since then we've had several. We had 2 or 3 of them, and even in the with the students that I work with. And even now, we every evening, I try to do it at least twice a evening, and I stay late and I work with the kids, the ones that are really, really into it, that are really into the art, that have questions, that really want to learn. We got several of those, and they're all into it, yes, but there's a handful of them that are really, really into it, that are overachievers and really into it, and kind of, took a liking to it. So yeah, it's a good mile. It's a nice thing for me, a nice thing to share with these kids what I can, my little doodling skills I have. I get to share it with these kids, man. They're really into it, and it's pretty rewarding. It's damn rewarding to see what they're doing, the work they put out. And I wish I could show. It's just we can't show the stuff because it's private stuff. How it is. You can't show. But anyway, despite all that, kids did phenomenal. Super proud of them. They killed it. They did self portraits. They only had like 2 weeks maybe to work on these things, and they did a hell of a job. Granted, I didn't do anything. I just kind of guided them, gave them some lessons, gave them some tips on how to shade and whatnot, and little tricks with erasers and whatnot, how to do things. And I mean, these kids did a phenomenal job. I can't believe it. And every day I'm blown away by the things that they can do. Like I said, I tell them all the time, you just put your mind to stuff, man. You can do just about anything, man. You just you gotta want to. That we gotta have the want to, and they do. And the kids that I got, the group of fellas I got, man, they're doing one hell of a job, man. And now it's time. Now we got that. We got the self portraits done. We got our winners from that one. They were ecstatic. They were bragging. I told them I wanted to create competition, but healthy competition, not competition where we're fucking fisticuffs and fucking dust ups. No, we're gonna create real competition where you guys are, matching matching your effort against that guy. Make sure you're gonna put more work than he's gonna put into more work, and that's the goal for them, to teach them how to be competitive in a good way, positive way. And so now we did the self portraits. We got, like I said, got the winners from that. Now we're moving on to Halloween. It's Halloween time. So most of the kids, most of the fellows I work with, they love Halloween. They're like me. They love the horror movies. They love the slasher movies. They love Art the Clown. So I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of Art the Clown. But no, not really. But I'm trying to get them to do, just something Halloween, more Halloween themed, kind of something that's in their head they can be creative with. And, of course, you're gonna have tons of skulls, I'm sure, but anyway, it's refreshing, and it's nice, and it's a nice change of pace to be around. You know, being around these kids, and it's a nice change of pace. It's a very rewarding job, and every day somebody comes out of the woodwork and surprises me, and like a kid that's like, I can't even draw. This is the first time I'm picking up a pencil, and the thing they created, they're so proud of it. And they want to show everybody they come in contact with, like, look what I drew. I drew this today, and that's the cool part, man. For me, that's the don't need the mansion, don't need the yacht. Those little wins every day, or that's all I need. So it was good. So all that to be said, the kids are doing a fantastic job. They're killing it, and Halloween is going to be fun. And I got some ideas for them for, the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the whole nine. We're gonna keep them busy. We're gonna keep those minds busy, their minds busy throughout the holidays. That way, keep them focused on what the task at hand is. But yeah, I mean, gonna wrap that up, man. Not gonna keep it too long. Keep it short because I got football to watch. It's Saturday night, and this will come out, tomorrow, Sunday. But yeah, I got some football to watch and some pork chops to throw down my pie hole. So thanks everybody thank you for supporting what I'm doing here, even though like I said, I'll say that a million times. I don't care if it's 2 people or 20 people. I don't care. I'll keep doing it. I love doing this. It's just therapeutic for me. It's a good thing for me to keep to talk about, you know, the stuff I grew up with, TV and all that stuff. You guys know the whole spiel. You know how it goes. But I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all, and stay tuned.